Hello, my name is Melissa Christopher, and I am an online digital entrepreneur. I am on here today because we are doing a 10-day go live challenge. Today, the number one day is what is your why, and why is your why your why? I know that sounds kind of well, my why is because of my grandchildren. That is one of my whys. And also, my other why is for me. When I was young, I grew up, my mom, um, when I was a little child, when I was young, like 4 and 5, I remember being in the back of the car while my mom went into the bar and left me and my sister out in the car. So that's how my life started out as a mother with an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic. At the age of 7, um, and my sister was 6, my mother committed suicide. And me and my sister, we got separated. My sister went and lived with her dad's side of the family, and I lived with my mom's sister, my aunt, which she was single and she had 3 kids because she had lost her husband not long before that from a car accident. So she took on me and she took care of me. She was one wonderful, wonderful lady. She was born with only one arm, and she worked 2 or 3 jobs to raise me and my 3 cousins, her 3 children. So growing up, she did the best she could. I mean, we didn't really want for anything, but we didn't have like high quality stuff, I mean, and you always was told, I always seen her, she worked hard and that's how she got her money, she didn't really have a college degree, as I don't even have a high school diploma. But, so starting off life was a little rough in the beginning, and it took me a long time to get over that, I mean, because I was raised by my aunt. Like I said, don't get me wrong, my aunt Sis did the best that she could, and she did everything she possibly could. She kept a roof over our head, and she made sure we were fed and we had clothes and we went to school. And for that, I'm just totally grateful for her for stepping up and taking care of me, and I really appreciate it. And I told her so before she passed away, almost 6 years. Well, so it's been 6 years ago, and life wasn't easy. I mean, I grew up and went to school. Always got in trouble. I was getting suspended. I would not then finally got into high school and then I stopped going, and I just did what I wanted to do, when I was 15 and 16. And then 17, I was, yeah, 17, I ended up getting myself pregnant. Yep. And the father, unfortunately, did not want nothing to do with my son. So I tried for months to take care of my son at 17 years old. I got kicked out of my house because I didn't finish school when I was pregnant, and she wanted me to get an abortion, and I said no. So I was kicked out of my house, and I tried to raise my son by myself at 17 years old, not knowing a thing at all because, my life wasn't so perfect growing up either, especially before my mother died, because I don't really remember anything but bad things, and that's unfortunate. But after that went on, I had my son, and I was 17, and I kept him for 3 months. Then I moved in with my best friend, and me and my son moved in with my best friend, and her mom and her grandma. And after I was there, I mean, her mother started watching Dustin, like right away. And finally, I got to the point that I really just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was too young. I was too immature. I was too worried about partying. That's all I wanted to do was go out and party and, do me, but I had a baby and I felt bad because it was my responsibility, but I also was 17 years old and didn't really know any better. Um, because I was 17 years old. So my best friend's mom ended up taking over custody of my son when he was 3 months old. I signed over custody. I didn't give him up for adoption. I just signed over custody of him. Honestly, that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do because I loved my son, but I wanted him to have a good life, better than mine. And all I wanted to do was go out and party. I was 17 years old. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about kids. I didn't care about nothing. I was too busy doing drinking and, doing drugs at, 17, 18 years old, and it wasn't good, I mean, I got my life involved in, terrible things, and I never thought in a million years that I would be an online digital entrepreneur and own my own business after what my life was like. Well, at the age of 18, I started working in a bar, dancing in a bar. And I did that for about 8 years. The whole 8 years that I did it, unfortunately, I was on drugs. So I spent all my money on drugs, and it was awful. I continued to do drugs for the next 15 years, so I did drugs for 20 years. So that was pretty much my life from the age of like 18 to 35. Drugs, alcohol, working in bars, doing whatever, it was to get money to do my drugs. It was horrible, and then finally I got out of that. I moved up to Pennsylvania out of Maryland and got away from it. And then I met my now husband, John. And that's when we still partied when I met him because he partied too. So finally, after we were together a few years, we finally stopped partying. It took me all that time to stop doing what I was doing, I mean, I never went to college. I mean, my life was pretty much all involved in drugs. I didn't really have a life. My life was drugs for almost 20 years, and it's like when I look back and I think, oh my gosh, where did my life go? But everything happens for a reason, so has to be a reason I went through that. So I became addicted to drugs and addicted to alcohol and I went through life and that's what I did, drugs and alcohol for a long time, like I said, till I met my husband. And then I met him and then my life just changed. I decided that I was done. I didn't want to do it no more. So I quit. I didn't go to treatment. I didn't do anything. I just quit on my own. After 20 years, I just quit on my own. And I was so proud of myself, I cleaned for over 10 years, and then I had a relapse, and it was like, seriously, after all these years. But after that time of having a relapse, I realized that that's not my life. That is not my life anymore, and that's not what I want to live. I have grandchildren that I worship the ground they walk on. I love them so much. They are my whole life. And I am doing this business for them, because I mean, like I said, I straightened my life out. And then when I joined this business, I have been doing drugs for years now. And I don't plan on doing them again. But the thing about it is, life gets in the way. And when I decided not to do them anymore, because I have grandchildren and that's not where I need to be, you know. I don't want to be in that situation again because I like my life. You know, I like being able to have things when I want them and buy them when I want them, you know, because back then I didn't never have any money. I worked to buy drugs. I'd go to work for 8 hours and make all these tips, and then I'd spend it within an hour on drugs. You know, it was really, really ridiculous. And, you know, thank you, Jesus God, because I'll tell you, if I didn't have him on my side, I don't know how I made it as far as I did. Because I put myself in some really predicaments over the years that God is the only thing that I feel saved me because, I mean, other than that, I'd probably be dead by now. But thank you, Jesus, for saving me, you know, and that's it, you know. And then when I start this business, I had to look at my life and think, what do I want? What do I want? I'm 52 years old. I have no retirement. I have no education. You know, I have no technical skills. You know, I'm not stupid, but I'm not, you know, that book smart either. You know, I'm more street smart than I am book smart, you know, because that's what I did. But as I've been in this business for the last 22 months, my life has completely changed drastically. My perspective on life is totally different now. I do not ever, no, ever believe that I will ever touch them drugs again. So I know that for a fact. And I know for a fact that God is on my side. And that's why I am where I'm at today. That's why I have this business. That's why I am doing so great. I brought God into my life. And since I brought him into my life has been, I have never been so happy. You know, of course we have our bad days and stuff, you know. I mean, not everybody's going to wake up every single day and be happy as a pig in poo. That's just an example. But seriously, you know, nobody is going to wake up every single day. And I'm a pretty happy person. I wake up pretty much every single day happy. But then you got life that goes on, and sometimes you let people make you feel a different way. But see, that's it. You can't let people make you feel anyway because you're the only one that controls how you feel. So that is my reason why, is because I want a better life for me and my grandchildren and my husband, because my husband is a little bit older than me. And I just want things that I want. I want my new RV, and I want to travel around the United States and live in my RV and just do that, and buy a log cabin somewhere to where I can go if I feel like I need to go home. So my why is for me and for my grandchildren and for my husband. That is my why. So I hope I didn't bore you too much, but that's my story. My life is great now. I couldn't be happier. I'm so glad that I joined this business, and I hope that you look at my story and resonate, because you can be anything you want to be. You know? Did you think I thought 20 years ago that I was going to be here? No. I didn't think I was ever going to be anything or anybody. I was feeling like I was a nobody. But I'm not a nobody. I am somebody. I am a child of God. And that is the most important role in life. And also the next thing is to be a nana to my little sweet girls. So with that being said, I hope you understand my story. I really hope that you resonate. And if you do, come in and watch the free webinar and tell me what you think. And you can tell your story later down the road so you can see your success. I hope everybody has a blessed day, and thank you very much for listening. Good night. Goodbye. Good night.